I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
He didn't say it was a toasted sandwich. Welcome to a brand new episode of Please Don't Set the World on Fire or something. What is it? Don't burn my house down? I don't want to set the world on fire part 2.
Yes.
I'm your host, Jay Fry. With me is Josh. How's it going, Josh?
It's going fair to Midland.
Fair to Midland.
You think
as
I'm
always,
old? Hello.
There's an author I read, and pretty much always the response is fair to Midland. That's just how he responds to stuff. In like all of his characters that are actually him that he writes about. But yeah. So we got a lot to talk about tonight, do we? I got nothing. Do you have stuff to talk about tonight?
West Coast is on fire.
I meant stuff that matters.
Apparently, the people over there think it's due to climate change and not the fact that it happens every fucking year like clockwork, and has a lot to do with how they can't manage their own shit. But no, it's climate change.
I saw in defense of that, it was it's an American map. That's why there's no fires in Canada. And I'm like, well, first off, there are fires in Canada, but yeah, this is a land management issue. This isn't a wilderness issue or a map issue. But sure, you do what you need to do to pass your own judgment.
Well, it's a couple of things. Number one, it literally happens every year. So not being prepared is kind of on those who didn't prepare. They're not any worse than they used to be, except that more people are in the way because they don't manage their shit and like, oh, what a beautiful little area. Not recognizing it to be a fucking tinderbox.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, there's just not really a lot to say about it. Unfortunately, the way government spending goes, you cannot get people to spend the basically probably like $3 billion in all honesty to cut back the brush fires or to do brush fires, burn fires, and create fire lines. But what they can do is put aside $7 billion for emergency contingencies. And it's a shame. But I can't imagine suffering through a wildfire that's coming closer to your area while you're suffering a brownout because of the poor management of electricity and still voting Democrat. Yeah, you're voting the same way. Like, I remember 10 years ago. In fact, there was an episode of Criminal Minds that revolved around a serial killer only killing people during blackouts in California. That's how prevalent they are in American society. That a screenwriter or in this case a show writer would put up a case on it. Really.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, that screenwriter was living in California.
It's probably his nightmare. Like it's really cathartic to write my name here out and see it live action. I think I think that was the Tim Curry episode. Maybe. Not positive. Yeah. I believe Mike Hawk says, why did you say 3 billion? That's what happens, how much we give Israel every year. I said 3 billion, not 6 gorillion. So I think we're safe for the time being. But speaking of voting Democrat to fix things they haven't fixed yet, Joe Biden, is it really 47 years he spent in office, or is it 47 years since he was elected?
He was originally elected before I was born. I think he was elected in 1972, November of 1972.
72 or 73, yeah.
Well,
it would have been 72.
Put in 73.
Yeah, he would have been elected in November of 72 and has been there ever since.
Minus the last 4 years.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay. So it is actually 47. Jesus. That is absurd. But what do you guys think of the offer Joe Rogan gave to to host a 4-hour stream between Biden and Trump?
I doubt it'll happen because Tim Kennedy was going to be the one to moderate.
No, Joe said he would do it.
No, it was Tim Kennedy's idea.
Yeah, it was Tim Kennedy's idea, but Joe said, "Yeah,
Joe Rogan to moderate."
Yeah, I'll fully sit here with just me and those two, nobody else in the room except for young Jamie, and we'll do it. If they want to do it, I'll do it.
I'll do it. I mean, I'd like to listen to it.
Hell yes,
yeah,
that would be the best debate that we're gonna get, and everybody knows it. Which is why Trump jumped. He's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'm in."
Yeah, there's no downside to that.
None.
I don't think a normal person would correct Trump nearly as much as the media does.
Well, I mean, there will be a whole lot of, hold on, tell me what you mean, and that can't be trues, and explain how that's trues, which is
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Yeah, definitely more fair than what the freaking hacks that are, anointed to do these things typically will do.
Yeah, Joe's not going to stop. Oh, hold on there. So you're claiming your Big Mac stack was 1 mile high? Yeah, I don't think that's going to be part of it. But other than that, yeah, and I don't think a lot of the political bullshit would happen either. Just that annoying start that they all have where it takes them 75 seconds out of their 90 seconds to say hello.
I think it'd be just great if Donald Trump came on the Joe Rogan podcast.
That would be interesting, yeah. That would be very interesting.
Black Magic says, what is your opinion of DMT?
Yeah, have you ever done DMT?
So, Donald, can we talk about legalizing marijuana? I mean, man, it's just a plan.
You know what? I think Trump would do very well to go ahead and legalize marijuana.
Well, yeah, he would.
Yeah, good luck with him getting the vote on it with the Democrats. Man, they would come out so fast. They'd start wanting drug tests at work. It'd be great. And if you guys think I'm kidding about it, Democrats are now against the Nobel Peace Prize.
Yep, just because he got nominated.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they're claiming it's his second nomination in a week, which it is, but they're ignoring the other times he's been nominated. He got the nomination for the North Korean South Korean meetup. By the way, that building is now blown up. Thanks, Kim Jong-un.
He did get a nomination for that?
It didn't go as far as someone from Norway to say it, but it was talked about, not by Fox News. I mean, it was talked about by Fox News, but it wasn't introduced by Fox News. Like, it wasn't Sean Hannity saying it.
So there was no actual formal nomination by somebody who has the authority to do the nominating.
There was the attempt, but yeah, not a Norwegian parliamental fucking member of 6 that can say it. But were both of his nominations last week? Were those both?
They were within a week of each other. I think the first one was actually 2 weeks ago, but the second one came less than 7 days later.
Yeah, but were those both by Norwegians?
I know the first one was. I don't know about the second one.
Yeah, so I didn't assume like they all had to be. Like if fucking Malala can be nominated, let's get on this shit. Obama received his Peace Prize announcement the same week we bombed the moon, or maybe same month. Anyway, I thought it was hilarious. I didn't even know we were at war with the moon.
Fuck that thing. They've been oppressing us for years.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's a kinetic bomb, but it's still a bomb. It's like we sent a nuke at the moon. But we hit it with an external fuel canister. Well, we flew at the moon. We stopped flying at the moon. Canister kept flying at the moon. And it impacted the ground, sent dust up into the air, and we came by, swept it up with a space shovel.
That kind of makes me wonder, do vacuums work in a vacuum?
Well, yeah, or else a vacuum wouldn't be able to make a vacuum.
No, a vacuum works by pulling air from one point to another because of the vacuum. But when you're in a vacuum, it's not like you can suck it up.
That's how you get the vacuum in the first place.
Well, no, yeah, the entire area is surrounded by suck. Mm-hmm. So how do you suck in suck? Joe Biden, folks.
Easy to manage. Let's ask the president nominee.
Come on, man.
That's another thing that's just irking me a bit is you guys said in 2016 Trump was going to accept the election. There's still people to this day saying he's not my president. Like, Trump isn't going to accept the 2016 election. He did because he won.
The only time Democrats ever accept election results is if it's a complete lopsided blowout.
Yeah, 88.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. Every other election, they never accept the results. There were people in 2000 that say, and I remember seeing this because I worked with a douchebag that had one of these things. There was a shirt that had George W. Bush pictured on it. And said, Bush, shrub, said not my president back in 2000.
Yep. I remember that.
Well, actually 2001. No, it wasn't pre. It was post 9/11, but pre-Iraq. So it must have been early 2002. So this is not new. None of this is new.
There's a story of towards the end of Reagan's presidency. It's from Dan Quayle, and he just makes the stupidest statement because you talked about the Bushes. It reminded me of it, where he was intending to leave, but Reagan was leaving at the same time. So because he couldn't go out behind Reagan, he went out behind the Bushes.
Ah.
Yeah, pretty funny. Yeah, we had a Little Bush. Was it Little Bush first, or That's My Bush?
That's my
Bush, and then followed by Little Bush, which was kind of funny.
I saw that guy at a movie, and I couldn't help but think he was I can't picture you as anybody but Bush now. But so we had that. Then 9/11 hit, and it went off the air because we were supporting our president. When did 9/11 hit? His first year in office. Yeah. They already had a show airing that was mocking him for being a stupid president in his first year of office.
Yeah.
The only reason we don't have one for Trump is because Trump is a member of the Screen Actors Guild.
Well, that and he's probably licensed his likeness and name, and they'd have to pay him to do it.
Thank you, Home Alone 2, for all that you did for us.
Which actually might be why Alec Baldwin never does him on Saturday Night Live anymore.
Cease and desist.
Uh-huh. There was probably a cease and desist. Or pay me, motherfucker.
I wouldn't put it past Fallon to pay me. Yeah, he's a lefty, but he's not like a I give a shit lefty. Like
Who,
he straight up,
Fallon?
yeah, like he straight up sucked up to Trump when Trump was there.
Yeah.
Can I touch your hair?
No.
Can I give a good firm hug, Mr.
Fallon is a default lefty, like most people that vote Democrat. They don't think, they don't care, they don't pay attention. So they just default liberal. That's what makes them dangerous, because they don't care, they don't pay attention, they're not thinking. They just, oh yeah, okay, pull the lever. All my buddies say they're pulling the lever for so-and-so, I guess I'll pull the lever for so-and-so. Just completely disengaged.
Yeah, well, it's easier to be a Democrat if you don't think about it too much. You're just giving everybody what they want. So who cares if you're piling sugar on the kid's breakfast cereal until he gets diabetes? The kid wants sugar on his breakfast cereal. Oh, you want me to call you Justin? Sure, Melissa, I'll call you Justin. That makes fucking sense. You're saying no. Take responsibility for yourself, and it's a little bit jerkish to be somebody who conservates anything. Like, who wants to be followed around the party telling to pick up your shit when you leave it somewhere? It's not a fun place to be. So you're the fun guy, and you just let shit slide, and you don't think about that abortion is actually the murder of a viable offspring.
Right, but conversely, what has taken over the liberal side of the fence, the far lefties are demanding that you kowtow and bend the knee and raise the fist for every single one of their inane causes under pain of cancellation or worse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, pretty soon there's going to be that reversal where it sucks worse to be one of them.
Yeah, they're fucking buzzkills. I don't go on to any left wing site and drop my Trump memes or anything like that. But Glenn Beck's Facebook is full of freaking, like, the top commenters are not Glenn Beck supporters.
Yeah, they're brigaders.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing if you look at Trump's Twitter feed. None of them are Trump supporters. They're just people that bag on him and countermand and say negative shit about it. Of course, that's kind of just Twitter in a nutshell, but yeah, that's their thing. That's what they do. They try to shame people into compliance.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah,
Not gonna do
Glenn Beck is now beyond shame. Pretty sure Trump is pretty much shameless. Their tactics no longer work.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't shame a New York Republican in name only. But what does that say about Republicans that the two most effective Republican presidents in my lifetime are Democrats? Actual Democrats.
Who? Clinton?
Reagan and
Oh, Reagan was not a Democrat. I mean, he was back when he was acting in the 40s, but that didn't take long to get burnt the hell out of him.
he was a California Republican. He still put in the education department allowed amnesty for an entire group of.
He didn't put. Well, he didn't.
He allowed it to.
He allowed it to continue. Yeah, it started under Carter, but yeah, he did allow it to continue.
It was founded under Carter, but it initiated under Reagan.
Okay.
He still could have stopped it. Unlike the EPA, which once it gets started, there's no stopping any of those.
Pretty sure Nixon started the EPA.
Well, I'm saying, like, once you get it, once it's activated, there's no ending it.
Well, there is. It just takes a lot of pain and gnashing of teeth. And nobody who's overtly political wants to be that guy. Trump is the closest thing to that guy that we have. And yeah, he's not that guy either.
I just wish we could do something about term limits for Congress.
It's going to take an amendment, and since the amendment's not going to go through Congress, it's going to have to be a convention of the states.
Yeah.
Which is nigh an impossibility in itself.
Yeah. I want Mitch McConnell out. I want Chuck Schumer out. I want Nancy Pelosi out. I want everybody out but Ted Cruz. Rand Paul can stay if he's getting his ass kicked.
Oh.
It's the only time he does anything worth doing, man.
What about Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan?
Jim Jordan can stay, but I don't actually care for Matt Gaetz.
What about Ted Cruz?
Yeah, Ted Cruz can stay. Like I said, the first name.
I didn't hear Ted Cruz. Sorry.
I said everybody but Ted Cruz. That means Ted Cruz can stay. I don't want to talk about like the shooting of the LA County sheriffs. I mean, what?
I mean, we could talk about Gage, whatever his last name is, going and bitching on CNN.
Kreutzberger? What the fuck is that?
Gashowitz or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I'd have to look.
Missed the 90%.
He's a 90%er.
Jeez, just
Gross Cruz.
gross crutch. Long live the revolution. Jesus.
Yeah.
First off, no one wants a long-lived revolution. You want a revolution, and you want it as fast as possible.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, the only people who want the Lion Ted instead of Lion Ted, the only people who want a long-lived revolution are the people who are making money off the revolution. That's their business. They
So
don't want
Nike and Adidas and all these other sports merchants at this point.
Yeah. Dude, I hate cancel culture, but I can't help but kind of like want to be part of cancel culture. I just want to cancel something.
You know,
Well, the ultimate cancel culture is going to be when you shoot them down. You will be canceling them at that point.
Yeah. I will be canceling their fucking life. I'm going to start with everybody who has anything to do with Netflix. No, for this guy, Gross Crutch, who is still out and about saying stupid things and winning stupid prizes, fuck that guy. And I honestly believe, like what they talked about last night on Beauty and the Beta, Kyle will get proven that he defended himself from an aggressor, and nothing is going to happen to the goddamn aggressor. This is the game George Soros is playing. He's funding DAs, district attorneys, and attorney generals of states, and he's getting his money's worth. $100%. Am I still here?
yeah, you're still here.
All right, everything went. The what's the George Soros Foundation?
I don't know.
I can't think of the name of it, but between him and Bloomberg, they're Everytown USA and was Media Matters? No, not Media Matters. Whatever the George Soros. Damn, what is the George Soros one? I can't think of it. Anyways, fuck them. I'm hoping the next time a open society. Thank you guys. The next time these politicians come up for review, they're fucking gone. Like the asshole from Atlanta who had a grand jury conviction before a grand jury was convened. You know, he's not going to make it to his next term because he lost the primary. Yeah, banning out-of-state money. That just means the in-state money is going to be ridiculous towards like New York and California are already amazingly lost causes, but it's frustrating to say the least, but it's literally crazy to keep doing the same thing yet expect a different result. And I think it has a lot to do with the educational system being as destroyed as it is.
Yeah, but can you put that destruction on the feds, or do you put it on the comfy infiltrators?
Both. They're the same thing.
I don't think so. I don't think that the entire Department of Education at a federal level is nothing but communist infiltrators. I think that in order to get the result that we see currently, it takes that at a very grassroots state sort of level. So I think they got into the teachers' union.
Uh-huh.
And that's where it really started to grow because they just hire their buddies. But the curriculum changes that have come down from a federal level haven't been overtly communist. Whereas some of the stuff that's put up there to be put forward has absolutely been state of Texas, state of California boards of education that somehow...
What's the third one?
I would say Iowa, but that's not true. Iowa just has standardized testing.
Yeah, but there's the three groups that are the ones buying the school books and what changes them. And it's California, Texas, and what's the third one? Is it New York?
I have no idea.
Probably New York or Chicago.
Or Washington, or it's one of those really. It's two very Democrat, progressive leaning contingencies, and one Texas, which is basically Democrat. So, it's it's hard to pinpoint it down with any degree of certainty without really digging in and finding out what the root cause of it is. But it's part of all that. There's a post going around on Facebook that says, around here we believe, and it says Black Lives Matter, love is love, not saying race, a whole bunch of bullshit.
You can't say you can't see race anymore. That's now racist.
Yeah, it wasn't that, but the love is love and the Black Lives Matter were things. But it's like, fight that shit. Fight that shit until you're not allowed to come back to parent-teacher conferences, and then move schools. My family personally has had multiple teachers fired over the years. My brother got expelled from school for calling a girl a name that, give or take, was supposedly sexual harassment, but it was really a mock of her name. I got called a pussy for not getting into a fist fight, but I had a very good reason for not fist fighting that particular day. But I got called a pussy for not fighting. This is by in fifth grade, so it was like late 80s. They were that particular teacher had a paddle to still whip kids on his wall, even though it had been out of style for years by then. I had a game or something that night, and if I was suspended, I wouldn't be able to play. But he ended up getting forced out. that lady was forced retired. Like, some of these people are just not. They have no place in academia or even around kids. We had a teacher that was colorblind, and his entire outfit would match because his wife bought him entirely matching outfits. Talking slacks, dress shirt, sweater vest, and shoes and belt. They always matched. It was a very weird thing to see. But I could not imagine a parent looking at that man and say, sure, I want this guy around my children.
Why? Because he was colorblind?
No, it was about like the color coordination of his outfits just was very, very odd in particular. His name was Mr. Hamlin. He's a great teacher, though. He had an extra pupil in his eye. And when he looked down, he could still see the students. The fucking guy was made to be a teacher.
He administered all of the testing.
Yeah. Like there was no getting around it. There's no getting away with anything. But yeah, I mean, he wasn't a creep. He wasn't weird. He wasn't rude. He wasn't a dick. He was just a fucking odd duck. In '88, physical punishment was not illegal, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it was legal all the way through the '90s, most of the '90s, I think.
Early '90s. By mid '90s, it was like a felony to hit a teacher, which came out the year after that Michelle Pfeiffer movie with that fucking Coolio song.
Yeah,
because everybody fought their teacher that year. Because we're not sheep at all. We're free thinking children.
Yeah, I always had the threat of the paddle. I never caught it though.
Same.
But by the time I was in school, there wasn't even the threat of the paddle.
We still had paddling in my school.
And it went down. So I know that when I was a kid, like a small kid, it was a common thing. Even if it was frowned upon, it was still common. And then as I aged up, it started coming down where they wouldn't paddle high schoolers at all, and then they stopped paddling junior high and middle school, and then they eventually stopped paddling even the elementary kids. But yeah, it stopped top down instead of bottom up, which you would have thought it would have gone the other way, but it didn't. But basically, they didn't want to paddle high school students because high school students would then turn around and summarily kick the teacher's ass.
I'd have fucked up most of my high school.
But I also went to school where it wasn't an uncommon thing for people to bring their gun to school because they were going hunting that weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a buddy that would miss out the first week of November every year. Like, can't wait for Peter to get a hold of this one. Yeah, what else we got to talk about? Fuck school. Fuck.
Well, I think what it is that our values have switched from rural to suburban values down to urban values, which has caused all the strife. I mean, if we let the schools go back to that suburban, bordering on rural sort of environment and mores, everything was a lot better. But because there's too many people in the urban environments, you've got to have that as your baseline, as opposed to a more normalized, better life for everybody.
Black Magic says, funny how there's no school shootings when you have a parking lot full of guns.
Yeah.
Funny how polite everybody is at a gun range, too.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, fellas, I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to head to
Shower
bed.
and do some stuff.
Yeah, shower, go to bed. That sort of
Take her
stuff.
sleazy, buddy.
She's not home, so don't worry about that.
Right, got it. All right,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody have a wonderful night. Except for Garrick, because he's not here. He big timed us, so he can suck a bag
He'll be back in about
He
20
can-
minutes.
Well, let me just put it this way: he can imbibe a satchel of Richards for all I care. That's funny. Come on, Sean. I know you get that joke,
I do.
and I know Jay gets it.
Yeah, I think Jay was the first one to drop it.
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago when it was funny.
No. It was sad when you did it. Funny when I do it. Sad when you did it.
Sad. It's a sad time.
Sad. But I'm still waiting to get the ultimate bingo for the Joe Rogan Biden debate. So, but anyway.
Yeah,
you
I don't
guys
think
have a wonderful night.
I don't think the Joe Rogan debate will happen, but I absolutely believe that it should. It would be the best thing in the world for this country.
Just
I
start
believe
making
so
it
as
about he's too old to do a 4-hour debate. Yeah, you're gonna be the oldest president ever. Yeah, I mean, I don't
He
think
can't do a
have
4-hour
stamina for it.
debate, but he can run a country. Yeah.
Exactly.
If it happens at all, they'll negotiate it down to maybe an hour, which isn't going to work. But
No,
whatever.
it needs to be at minimum 2, max 4.
Yeah, I agree.
So, all right, everybody have a wonderful night. I'll talk at you later.
Bye.
All right. Now that we had that 7-minute departure conversation, Jesus fuck. Yeah. I just want to talk shit about him as he left. Yeah, just make it about his age. Get that going and see if we can't make anything out of that.
I would like to see it, but the reality is that everybody that's handling him knows the facts, and that's why we saw the pushback we saw from that surrogate that was interviewed on Fox News, and when they asked him, simply, can you either confirm or deny that Joe Biden is using a teleprompter during his interviews? And he flew off the handle like that was an offensive question. And like, how dare he have Trump talking points? I'm not going to even address Trump talking points. Like, well, we kind of want to know, is it true or not? You could just say no, but if you say no and we catch you, you're going to be a liar. But you can't
And we
say
did catch
yes.
ya.
Yeah. You could say yes and have to then sort of explain it, which is, I don't understand why that was so hard.
Mm-hmm. Forget Obama didn't text without a teleprompter.
Yeah, every time that Obama wasn't on teleprompter, his supposed eloquence, which I never thought he had to begin with, disappeared.
Well, that's the thing that really got me is he's not eloquent so much as doesn't have a black scent. That's really what they meant.
Well, I understand
Democrats
that.
are the real racists.
Well, no, when they use the word articulate when that's what they're talking about. I've heard people say that he was actually eloquent. I'm like, motherfucker, do you not remember Clinton, let alone Reagan? Those two guys could give a goddamn speech. Obama isn't anywhere close to Clinton, let alone Reagan.
I am no fan of Bill Clinton, but there are things I can point out about Bill Clinton that are positives in his favor. I just want to hear you say something positive about Trump. Just one fucking thing. You crazy ass TDS having motherfuckers.
Yeah, there was a bunch of right wingers that were frothing at the mouth about how bad Obama was, and
dude, he bombed more brown countries than something that bombs a lot of brown countries.
That doesn't even matter. They're we're just talking rabid partisans, okay? Rabid right-wing partisans that hated the shit out of Obama for whatever reason they had. It doesn't even fucking matter. They never said anywhere near as negative shit about Obama as we get on the mainstream news nightly about Trump.
Yesterday we had a journalist interviewing a journalist about how Orange Man bad. That's what we had in the Bob Woodward interview.
Well, that's been going on for 4 years.
Orange Man bad. That's a hell of a thing, Bob Woodward, apparently, who will no longer be in politics until Trump's out of office.
Well, I mean...
Which is good, because she made fame 40 fucking years ago.
Yeah, 45. 46 now.
Since Joe Biden was in office.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I mean, and then you got Dan Rather, who's out there saying nonsense again. I'm like, bitch, you got fired because you got caught manufacturing shit against Bush. And he was uniparty. He was CIA, born bred in uniparty bullshit, and you couldn't even contain your rabid partisanship against him. Of course you're going to say negative shit about Trump. You covered up the goddamn Kennedy assassination. That's how Dan Rather got famous. By pushing the Warren Commission bullshit.
And Walter Cronkite lost us the Vietnam War.
Yeah. I my view on Vietnam is more hippie-ish than yours, I'm sure. I don't think that it was not winnable from jump. So we technically won every military engagement we have, but the problem is that war was not a war of military engagements. And the U.S. brass could not figure that the fuck out to save their goddamn lives. Because it was a manufactured war to help the machine. So it just... Getting out of Vietnam was a good thing to do. We should have never gone into Vietnam.
Agreed.
Not just one shooter, Black Magic. 4.
Four shooters in the grassy knoll?
Supposedly there were 4 shooters on the knoll. 3 confirmed, I should say, because it's not the actual story, but there were so many witnesses that identified multiple people on the knoll with guns. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't take much to figure out that whatever line you were fed about the Kennedy assassination was complete horse shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm to the point with that theory there that I don't even think Lee Harvey Oswald pulled a trigger.
Yeah, he did pull the trigger. Jack Ruby.
Sure did.
There's video of that. Well, whatever. There's film of that.
Yeah. Well, and then if you look at the Zapruder film, you can totally tell that the kill shot didn't come from behind on Kennedy.
Yeah, okay. I was like, are you sure you're thinking of the right name? But yeah, I was thinking of damn it, the Bigfoot film. No, it's a producer right name. What the hell's the name of the Bigfoot film? The is Wolfie here? She'll know.
Unfortunately, she doesn't listen.
Yeah. Well, it's 3.7 billion other people that don't either. No, it was the CIA. Black Magic. CIA was getting defunded like that very week.
It was definitely a cabal. There were plenty of people that Jack pissed off that had reason to want him dead, and they probably all found themselves in a room at some point. So, I mean, you have the fact that Lyndon Johnson is on record as saying the only way I'll ever get to be president is if the poor son of a bitch in front of me dies. And then 4 years later, that actually happening in Texas, where he was the senator from.
Man, Lyndon Johnson was a piece of work. He's a fucking dick.
Yeah, he was complete shit. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the worst American to ever live was
Andrew Jackson.
no, Hoover.
Did Hoover kill more than 2 Americans?
J. Edgar? We'll never know. I'm sure
He
he
wasn't
had.
president.
I'm sure he had more than that killed. Whether he actually killed them or not, I don't know.
He wasn't. He wasn't the president, though.
I didn't say president. I said worst American.
Oh. Andrew Jackson got into 2 duels on the White House lawn. Aaron Burr and the other fucking guy that lost.
No, Aaron Burr killed Alexander Hamilton.
No, it wasn't Aaron Burr. It was
That was that milk commercial that was famous there for a hot second. When people actually still bothered learning history at all.
yeah, killed 2 Americans with his own gun. Jackson. Trail of Tears, lots of bad things. I believe there's a story about who's the president? I can't even think of the story now. There was a story about the White House being under construction for some event or something, and someone came in and tried to kill the president. There's two attacks at once, and the president beat the guy to death. And a couple of Secret Service agents took the rap for it. I can't think of it. Damn it! I can't think of this. Anyway, that's not really the point. It was self-defense. Bring back duels.
So it was after there was Secret Service?
This was like, I want to say the 50s or 60s. Maybe the 40s.
So that would leave it to be FDR, which we know he didn't do anything because he was bound in a wheelchair. That means it could have been Truman or Ike.
The other, it might have been Truman.
I could see Harry Truman whooping that ass. I could see that.
Harry Truman dies. Harry S. Truman.
Hell, Teddy Roosevelt gave a speech with a bullet in his chest.
Attempted assassination of Harry Truman. Here we go. Let's The second of 2 assassination attempts on U.S. President Harry S. Truman occurred on November 1st, 1950, carried out by Puerto Rican pro-independence activist Oscar something Spanish. Mortally wounded White House police officer. Truman was upstairs. No, that's not it. That's not it. Anyway, point is bring back duels. We would live in a much nicer society if I could slap you with my gauntlet and shoot you in the fucking face. Okay, now this is important. Did he shoot at the angry crowd that then attacked him, or was it attacking him and he shot? Because those are they're 2 separate and distinct.
And I think you mean Jackson, not Johnson, Maynard.
Well, Andrew Johnson was Lincoln's VP.
His name was Andrew?
Wasn't it?
I don't think so.
I know it was Johnson.
Yeah, no, the first Johnson administration was right after the play went poorly for Lincoln.
Yeah. Was it Andrew? I had this this thing about
No, it was.
Andrew
It was
Johnson.
Andrew Johnson. Holy shit.
Andrew Gillum is on here, and we'll talk about him in a second. It was like this sheet of paper, and it had a penny on it, and it talked about the coincidences between Kennedy and Lincoln. And one of the things was both VPs were Johnson and actually, let's see.
Coincidence
between Lincoln and predictive text. There we go. No, I'm not doing Snopes.
But they'll tell you the truth.
There was one from Snopes that was I saw it the other day. It was ruled as inaccurate, and in their inaccuracy, they proved it was actually fucking completely accurate. 50 years, far-fetched, posted on Facebook, yada yada, list history, magazine, coincidences, connections. Really, this is just about it. It doesn't have it. I can dig it. Claim coincidences connecting U.S.
Yeah, that's Sonoran Defense giving me an update.
Hell yeah. The list. Both presidents were elected to Congress in 46. Both presidents were elected to presidency in 60. Lincoln and Kennedy each have 7 letters. That's a dumb one. Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both married in the 30s, women in their 20s. Lost a son while in the White House. Both were shot on Friday. Both were shot in the head. Both were shot with the presence of their wives. Lincoln's Secretary Kennedy warned him not to go to the theater. Kennedy's Secretary Lincoln warned him not to go to Dallas. Black Magic, no, and you will not be getting into our motion picture trivia at this time. Both were sad.
He's actually correct. It is the Warriors.
You will also not be allowed into my trivia. Both were succeeded by Southerners. Both successors were surnamed Johnson. Both successors were born in 08. Both assassins, John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, were born in 39. Both assassins were known by their 3 names. Each assassination is composed of 15 letters. This one was, I thought, the most fucked up one. Booth ran from a theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater.
Yeah, but that's if you believe that Oswald was the actual assassin.
Well,
I said,
I was a child.
At this point, I don't think. Again, I'll say it again. I don't even think that Oswald pulled a trigger. Now, he was definitely there as a patsy, and he was definitely involved. Probably not as much as he needed to be to catch on that he was the guy that they were going to hang, but
Booth and Oswald were both assassinated before their trials.
How about that?
Kennedy,
except it's real easy to pin it on Wilkes Booth because, jumping down onto the stage and screaming "Sic Semper Tyrannis," kind of, well-known actor does that and does it in a theater. Guilt is pretty much known.
This one's a stretchy one, but I think it's like, ooh, holy crap. Kennedy was assassinated in a Lincoln car made by Ford. John Wilkes Booth was assassinated Lincoln in the Ford's theater.
Fords are Illuminati, confirmed.
Yep, confirmed Illuminati. It gives me the true facts after this, and it's yes, both Kennedy and Lincoln have 7 letters in their name. Like, yeah, I'm aware. And then it gives the facts of like the wedding. Both lost a son while in the White House. Both were shot on Friday. Oh, Lincoln was shot on Good Friday. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. That's interesting.
Both were shot in the head. Both presidents' successors were named Johnson, Andrew, and Lyndon. Ooh, Johnson's from Tennessee. Go Titans. 15 names. Booth ran. Uncertain both seldom for trials. Yeah. False assertions. Lincoln secretary named Kennedy, although President Kennedy did have a secretary named Evelyn Lincoln, there is no record that President Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy. So one out of all that. Jesus. Is that someone knocking on my door? I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of coincidences, but it's not really a... I don't know. It's more post-fact correlation than anything else, which... I mean, it's not like you can predict shit. Andrew Johnson was a tailor. Lyndon Johnson needed his pants special tailored for his dong. I mean, yeah, he walked around bragging about the size of his dick, but nobody's actually confirmed whether or not it was actually all that big. I mean, the guy was like 6'6", so I mean, he was a big dude anyway. So I mean, proportion and everything. But he used to have this. He had a special car. Lyndon Johnson did that looked like a normal, I think, Ford Fairlane or something like that, but it was actually waterproofed and had a boat hull built in underneath it. And he would regularly freak people out on his ranch by putting them in it and driving really fast towards a lake and freaking them out as he would just take it into the lake and scare the shit out of whoever he had with him. I thought that was pretty boss. But yeah, he was a messed up dude. Hello, Garrick. I see your big timing time is up. Here in spirit. Well, you could join in if you really wanted to, if you can mitigate that background noise of yours. Yeah, the only exception is Ted Kennedy's cars only worked once. Poor Mary Jo Kopechne. Somehow I don't understand how Ted still had a career after actually bona fide murdering a woman. Even if it was on accident, how do you still have a career? Well, was it the pizza?
No, it was a neighbor who threw away her plunger. He needed to borrow a plunger. She's like, it was dirty. I threw it away. I'm like, buy another plunger.
Buy a plunger before you need a plunger.
Yeah. I'm like, when you go out, if you have a habit of throwing away plungers, go buy 3. Because the next time you throw one away, you're only going to have 2. And that'll be your backup. We talking about Johnson's aquatic car?
Yep.
I read that Kennedy could have used a car like that. Yeah, that's the reason why I think he's a dick. Daddy pulled his pecker out for everybody to see, not unlike Joe Biden, allegedly.
Yeah, well, that actually ties in nicely with why they can't acknowledge Jacob Blake's rape of his victim and have to honor him as a hero, because to actually say he's bad for doing what he did, poor Joe is kind of in the same boat for doing what he did to that.
Joe Biden is bad, though.
Yeah. Joe Biden is bad.
But I was like, you've been my neighbor for months. You know there's no one in the management office. Oh, yeah, she wasn't knocking on my door. She was knocking on the management door, which is next to mine.
Oh, okay.
It was she was pounding. She's like, well, it's late. I'm like, yeah, they could have been sleeping. So were you sleeping? And I was going to go, no, I was doing a podcast. Yes, I was sleeping.
Well, at least it didn't pound through on the audio.
I'm wearing noise canceling headphones. How the hell did I hear it then?
Good question.
I asked somebody who's not in the room. Okay. Yeah, fuck that guy and his finger banging of women to check to see if they're taking other dick. It's the reason you're not allowed around here anymore. You brave, brave soul. I wish I subbed this channel accidentally, but I'm here on purpose. Yeah, it's amazing how shitty these people are, and literally they defend stupid shit, and you have to like point out like it's stupid shit. Like all of it is stupid. Like Breonna Taylor, all of them.
Yeah, the closest one they got to a legitimate gripe is Philando Castile.
Which he still wasn't listening. But officer safety is a big issue with me. Tamir Rice is, he's not the convict. Every fucking other one of them are. But still, bad guy. Pointing a gun that you illegally took off the orange tip to and pointed at cops is not a good thing.
Was that the one in Ohio where they ran up on him real fast in the car?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, torn on that one.
That very thing happened to me. That very same situation happened to me, as long as it was one cop car. And it de-escalated very quickly when, thankfully, I didn't have the gun on me, but I wouldn't have pointed at the cops anyway. I was more kind of interested in seeing the cop car on a grass. Yeah. At my school. I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, I get who's going to pull over a cop. I mean, I want to be a cop. I want to do shit like this. Oh, and I got a gun pointed at me. Now, I was more intimidated by the authority of the cop than I had anything like with the gun pointed at me. I was a kid, and I'd had dozens of guns pointed at me. I intended to point my gun at kids that very day, but they weren't there yet, and my fucking gun was yellow and purple. Just God, everything about that situation was stupid. I had it tucked in the back of my pants. It was a water pistol. It wasn't like the greatest water pistol, so it was leaking down the back of my pants.
So you look like you shart yourself?
Well, it wasn't like a huge leak. Like it was still full of water when the cops got there. But yeah, like unfortunately, the society we live. My mom was when she was in college, she was a gas station store clerk. She got moved to days. She worked nights as a store clerk. She got moved to days in the 70s when, for some inexplicable reason, crack, people were no longer just armed robberies used to be a business. It used to be a business interaction. You point your gun at me, I give you my money, we both go on about our day.
Yeah.
And for some reason in the late 70s, crack, that changed from going in, holding up a gas station, getting away with $106, and you being happy with that, to shooting the clerk for whatever reason. The invention of a camera that was small enough to record you, or whatever the situation is, they started killing the clerks in the stores, and that caused them to take my mom off of midnights and put her onto day shift.
Good move.
Well, she had to quit the job because the whole reason she was there is so she could work, do her homework at night. Like, day shift is too busy to do any sort of studying, so no. And then she got out of there. She, finished college, had babies, things like that. Nice things. Profitable things to people who were born because of it. So I have that going for me.
Which is nice.
Yeah. But, since that, lives have really... I gotta think, like, my parents' generation valued life more than my generation does. Because I really don't give a fuck about anybody else that I don't know. Like, I've never once donated to the starving kids that were brought to me by Fat Sally Struthers and sung about by Martina McBride.
Well, I mean, you got to question the organizations that do that and how much of that is a profit motive for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's always been my thing. It's just like I don't trust any large organization because they're not. I shouldn't say any large organization because churches can be large organizations, but I don't trust them either, honestly. But I have seen where there is true altruism in some of those programs. But they're mostly local. They're not trying to feed a starving kid in Africa. Just give us your American dollars here in America so that we can be in America and then occasionally ship them some food.
But also, like, a large organization like that is somebody who can do that.
Yes.
Like, you can buy rice so cheap that it's actually really profitable in essence. Like, a sack of rice costs the same as a bag of rice if you buy enough sacks. Like 4,300 pounds of rice. Because of like the discount of not having to bag it and separate it and this, that, and the other thing can really be cost effective. But to do so, you have to spend $10,000 on rice.
Right.
But it equals, a whole satchel of rice for $1.
Yeah, but then you gotta work out the logistics of getting it to where you need it and that sort of thing. I don't know. I've always been a bigger fan of charities that help people fix themselves and their condition. So, like, instead of just giving them a bunch of food, I mean, you're going to bring a bunch of food when you go because you got to. But I mean, instead of just making a business of giving them food time after time after time after time, you go in there and you say, okay, here's the land you've got to work with. Let's work on getting it irrigated and aerated and, figure out how we can get a local source of fertilizer and get you doing your own crops.
Yeah. I did the soup and sandwich thing for over a year with the Salvation Army until I moved over to the Salvation Army. They're like, hey, can we get you to work at the store for a week? We're moving it like we're getting a big shipment of it was student type things, desks, chairs, heavy stuff they needed man labor for. And everything was donated, and they wanted to sell this stuff at like a not really reasonable price for free. It's free stuff, and the prices were unreasonable.
So they're goodwill, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I was like, no, I'm not going to be part of this anymore. I thought I was doing something good. You people are charlatans. You're doing good work, but there is no fucking reason you will not come down $10 on this $35 desk you got for free. You're a charity. You're not paying for the building. You're not paying for the utilities. Everything is coming out of somebody else's pocket, and you won't come down $10 on a desk that's free. Fuck you.
Yeah, I always found that St. Vincent de Paul was more on the level with that than the Salvation Army, for sure.
Yeah, how starving to death do you have to be to not leave your starving to death? If you literally have nothing in Ethiopia, and like the best day of your life was when you found a crushed, dirty water bottle, and it had no holes in it, and that became your most prized possession, just start fucking walking.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're in Ethiopia, where do you walk to? Everywhere around you is also shitty, and they hate you because you're not them. I mean, I get you. I have that same spirit within me, but they really had nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm. Like, I understand hosting, like you're a charity and you borrow like $400,000 to host an event, and it brings in $600,000 that you have $200,000 to work with. I get that, and that is the sometimes the way you have to do it, because it costs money to make money, literally. But if you made $200,000 and that goes to salaries, fuck your organization. If you're getting paid to throw a party and nothing is getting dolled out or handled, like my family does a family Christmas party every year. And it got to the point where they really weren't enjoying doing it, like each individual group, and it kind of got like shitty, and then it kind of got good. Like, depending on who it was, the level of entertainment it was. And we found somebody who did it. And they're like, hey, can we get you to do it next year? They did it the next year, and it was as good. We started paying them to do it. Because that's now a job. That's not something they did for fun, like the rest of the family was doing for fun. If you take on this burden of responsibility, we will pay you for it. And, it was always something reasonable because she had everything necessary. Like, she literally went through the effort to put all of our names on a mailing list for, print out the stickers, put the stickers on the envelopes. It was a bit of a hassle, but it was small hassles. At one point in time, in the middle of fall, you called and you got a reservation for the place. We ended up getting a same reservation for the places. Shit like that happened, and everything fell into to order for that situation. Fuck you, Wayne LaPierre, who had a suit budget because he was the president of the NRA. But also, fuck John McCain for him throwing Sarah Palin under the bus, hauling her out from Alaska and funding her new suits campaign, and then throwing her under the bus for getting new suits.
Well, I don't know that they do this anymore, but back in the 70s and 80s, you would always hear who the wardrobe was done by for any show you saw on TV. You still get that in sports. You get that in sports where the announcers are, clothes by Brooks Brothers or something like that.
Isn't that what Bill O'Reilly had?
I don't know, but like these are people that are on camera maybe, from the waist up, maybe for 2 total minutes during the entirety of the broadcast, if at all, and yet they're getting these upmarket suits. I mean, they're not Hugo Boss or what was the one in the 80s that everybody had to have, the fancy Italian suits or anything like that. But they're nice suits. They were given to them, tailored for them. And I'm assuming they got to keep them just for doing these broadcasts. I'm like, that's pretty good work if you can get it.
It says in my family, you inherit a funeral or wedding suit from a dead relative. I inherited a couple of shirts from my dad.
Yeah, I still got some of my dad's shirts in my closet.
Black Magic had it after you dig it up their corpse. Jesus. Yeah, I got this ring off my mom. Oh, God, that hurts. I do have I do have a family engagement ring.
Yeah, well, it's generally not a good idea to bury the dead with their jewelry.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, I was in high school, and one of my really good friends died, and uh, the kids left him with things, and they all left him with a cigarette, and there was ended up being this huge pile of cigarettes like on his chest, and I'm like, hey, that's shitty.
Is that what killed him?
No, he committed suicide.
Oh,
So he killed him.
gotcha.
But I was like, oh my God, that's shitty.
Yeah. Till you get your based cousin who brings in the 40 and just leaves it in there with him.
Yeah, it's like there were notes and stuff. I buried my grandpa with one of my watches. My grandpa always had two watches on because he's a goofball, and one of them had a calculator in it. And he didn't have any watches on when he was buried, and I'm like, that's just not right. And my brother and I put our watches on him because we wanted grandpa to have our watches. Come to find out, he didn't have his watches because they were given to my brother and I. I got the calculator watch, which is funny because I already had the calculator watch because I wanted that fucking watch so bad. Then my grandpa bought me that watch, and then I got his watch, which was super cool. And come to find out, my grandpa replaced his other watch like the week previously, and it was his other piece of shit Casio. So my brother got a piece of shit Casio watch. I'm like, oh, that sucks for you. I read burned, not buried, so that came off a little weird to me. But thanks, Maynard. I don't know why we're on this topic, so we'll move on to something else because
Yes, it is a little dark. What else is there that we've got this week? Isn't the first debate this week, or is that next week?
No. It's 2 weeks and a day. It's 29th, September 29th.
Damn. So it's at the very end of the month.
Day after my birthday. Hey. Speaking of, Blonde's birthday is in 5 days.
She's old.
She's old. The old 32. Thank God she doesn't have to worry about them eggs anymore. They can just go ahead and we're out now.
How many more does she want, as she said?
She wants 2. He wants 4. So they agreed to compromise and 2.
Yeah. That's usually how that goes. I bet you she ends up with 3. I wouldn't be shocked.
Dude, I cannot tell you how many Marines and Special Forces motherfuckers I've sat around and watched them teach other murder machines to braid hair. Like, just like 5 fucking dudes who could kill you with a thought in a room watching YouTube videos on how to braid hair. There's something about military men, like the elite forces, having females. And those little female babies, their mothers, just will not do hair. Like it's almost universal. They're like, I will shave your daughter's head if I have to put her in a ponytail one more time. They're like, not my babies. So, if they're not 22, there's a strong possibility that if they're above an Army Ranger, they can braid your hair for you. And if they're Navy SEAL, they can braid your hair for you while they're kicking your ass.
Underwater. No tank. Just underwater.
Yeah. It's fucked up for me being like a foot taller than some of these bastards and still going, yeah, he'd kill me. I have 10 years of mixed martial arts, and this guy would slaughter me to death. And he's 5'4". Tiny little bastard. But you need to be in like a Green Beret. They're almost like definitely the smallest. A Ranger can be a big dude, but a Green Beret, part of qualifications is, well, first off, there's a language skill qualifier. You literally can you can be dumb as a rock and become a SEAL, because that's all tactics. But you have to have a level of intelligence to become a not just necessarily all kinds of intelligence, but language intelligence to become a there's a whole fictitious language you have to study before becoming yeah. So it's Green Berets and William Shatner. They all speak Esperanto. Was it? That was Shatner in that movie.
What movie?
It was this vampire role from the 50s.
Okay.
It was done in Esperanto.
The movie was done in Esperanto?
Yeah.
The whole thing?
Yeah.
That's got to be a just horrible experience.
Yeah. Have you ever even seen Devil's Reign?
No.
Yeah, he's got a little accent in that from Esperanto. I subscribe to a lot of horror communities, and they've been honoring William Shatner and his Halloween mask because Halloween's coming. But they keep saying that the mask comes from Star Trek. It doesn't. It's not a William Shatner Star Trek mask. It's the face mold of William Shatner from a movie called Devil's Reign, where this is actually fun. Ernest Borgnine's the bad guy in this. He's a cult leader, and he turns into a goat man. So Ernest Borgnine, goat man.
Okay, what's this movie called? I now have to watch it.
It's crazy. Devil's Reign.
1975.
No, it's like 70. It's like 71.
No, according to this, it's 75.
Yeah, but it's like 71. But yeah, it comes out much later.
Yeah, you're right. That is definitely the face from the Halloween mask.
Yeah,
because he's older.
Yeah, like I just want to punch people who contributed to. But no, the full face mask was for a scene in which he gets his eyes gouged out, and he has to. There's a mold made for everything involved. But like, and it's impossible to argue with those people unless you like pull it up from a website, and I don't even know where I learned that from. But yeah, it's the Devil's Reign.
That's an hour and a half of cheese and then some. I'm gonna have to watch this one.
Oh, dude, wait till you watch it, and then you'll be like, "God damn it, Fry."
No, I'm going into this knowing that it's a B-, man. Come on. I'm going to enjoy it for that.
You wish it was a B-. Oh my god. The cast is great. It's just I don't know what they did wrong, but that movie is something you should have already been seeing. And like you need to have already regretted watching that movie for us to be friends. But go in there, watch it, then regret it, then we can be back to friends again.
It's a 5.1 out of 10 on IMDb, an 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 35% on Fandango. It's gotta be horrible. Now, my only
such good ratings.
I have to put it up against what I know to be the all-time worst flick ever, which is a flick called Hobgoblins, and I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Hobgoblins! Oh my god, yes. Have you seen Ator? No wait. The sort of the sort of God damn it. Give me a second to explain to them what Hobgoblin is because
Okay, well, yeah. Well, before I get there,
yeah, go ahead.
I got it. I got to tell Maynard. So bad it's good. No. I like bad movies. Like one of my favorite movies is Killer Clowns from Outer Space because it's a intentionally bad movie, but it's
so good.
It's so bad it's good, and that's why I like Evil Dead 2. It's why I like Army of Darkness. I dig that sort of thing. But no, Hobgoblins is just objectively horrible at every level. Anything that they try to do right is bad. Even when they're trying to do fake horror that is, I don't know that maybe they wanted it to be real horror. I don't know. But it's so bad that it's not even good fake horror. It's just objectively terrible. I think they had 2 sets in the entire movie. And one of them they could only film at night. Because it was like the administration building for a dam or something like that. It's just god awful. Starring nobody because
Tom Bartlett was in that movie. Watch your face.
Oh, it's just terrible.
Dwayne Whittaker was in that movie too, I'm pretty sure.
The old security guard guy was somewhat famous as a character actor, and I can't think of his name. I'm gonna have to IMDb it and pull it up just to remember how horrible this thing is.
No. Troll 2 or oh wait, I thought you said Troll 2. I thought you were talking about Trolls.
No,
Hobgoblins is different. Yeah, the Dwayne Whittaker was in that movie. He was Road Rage, something like that.
Road Rash, yeah.
Road Rash. He is in Pulp Fiction. He's one of the rapey guys in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. Tom Bartlett is Kevin. James Mayberry is Sergeant Parker. I think that's the guy I was thinking of.
Having a problem, but yeah, I was gonna go with Troll 2. But Birdemic is also pretty bad.
God, that came out in '88. I could have sworn that was like an '83 special. It's so bad.
Have you seen Birdemic?
No, I have not. Oh, look at this. The budget for this hot mess was $15,000, and it shows.
I'm having a hard time spelling Birdemic. B-R-D-E-M-I-Z. Yeah, there we go. What was Hobgoblin on the old Radometer? Did you look it up?
No, I haven't. Hang on, let me look it up.
I got a 1.8.
They're not even showing the ratings. That's hilarious. 2.3 on IMDb.
I beat you.
With what? Troll 2?
No, Birdemic.
Birdemic. Let me look that one up.
Shock and Terror. That's not a problem. But anyway, that's not.
Wait a minute. It got a sequel. It can't be that bad.
Dude, Hobgoblin has a sequel.
Does it? No.
Hobgoblins has a 2? Come on, Hobgoblins has to have a 2.
1.8 on IMDb.
Yeah, Hobgoblins too. So anyways, I have to look it up through another guy because I don't know the name of the movie. But Robin Hood Men in Tights. One of the characters was in Robin Hood Men in Tights. If I can freaking pull up... there we go. Robin Hood Men in Tights. And then the guy who played Little John.
The big guy?
Yeah, the blonde guy. Holy shit, he looks like such a badass on IMDb. He's got a shaved head. damn, that looks good. I don't like his hair, so it looks really good with a shaved head. Anyway, I just my uncle had blonde hair. He was uncle by marriage. Just like fucking, it was just terrible looking. I have to go all the way down to the start. This is like one of his first movies. Fucking guy played his father and his son.
Okay.
Over like a 20-year period. He had a receding hairline playing an 18-year-old. It was just Jesus Christ. And the trolls from Trolls 2 were Quest of the Mighty Sword. It's got a 2.6.
Quest of the Mighty. What year?
1990.
Okay, scrolling down.
But this is it's a foreign film. I think it might be a Diago or who
plays Ator.
It was Joe D'Amato film. Yeah. Tons of nudity, but
that's always a saving grace.
It doesn't line up right or anything. Oh man, just fun to watch, but not good. But Birdemic, yeah, man. Birdemic is the worst.
Reuses.
It doesn't even have an actual ending.
There, trivia reuses one of the goblin mask props from Troll 2.
Yeah, 2 of them actually. But I was like, is that the goblin from Troll 2?
Oh, it's a
Nilbog is goblin backwards. What?
I'm sorry. It's a spaghetti sword and sorcery movie.
Yeah, there's 5 of them. It's called the Ator series.
There's a series.
Yeah. There's 1, and then 2 and 2. This is 2 Ator. No, this is the Question of the Sword is Ator. Then the ones that followed it or before it or I don't remember what the anyway. But each one has an origin story for Ator. Iron Warrior is number 5. Doesn't even have Ator in the name. Like no one calls him by a name. The Quest for the Mighty Sword has Ator's birth in it, but yet they're filmed like 6 and 8 years after the other 2 films. I'm like, how the fuck does that even work? How do you have a prequel sequel that is the founding of, oh man, it's just atrocious. But the actor who did it was Miles O'Keefe. Like the guy was such eye candy. Steven, go look him up. You'll love it. That he was prettier than the women in the film. Like, it's just awkward. But all the pictures are absolutely shitty of him. But it's got a 3.2 on IMDb. Iron Warrior, which is the 5th one, has a 3. The Blade Master has a 2.3, 2.6, 3.7. Sorceress is a 4.3. Deathstalker, completely different set of films, but that movie just makes no sense whatsoever. And it's a 4.6. The lead hero rapes a girl, and it's still got a 4.6. Like,
Oh, who the hell's blowing me up?
especially this late. Oh, it's not that late for you.
No, it's only 7:30 here.
That's still business hours. I was talking with a friend of mine who was a girl, and I had to explain to her that there is the slightest bit the struggle snuggles, yeah. There's the slightest bit of reimagining of Hollywood that's been going on in the last decade because of Marvel superheroes. Like Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal's 6'6", if you guys didn't know that. Him, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone. Well, to a lesser point, Jean-Claude Van Damme, but these guys, with like certain exceptions, like Arnold Schwarzenegger did a movie with who's the basketball player? Fucked Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah,
Wilt Chamberlain. Yeah, was significantly taller than everybody else, and that was on purpose. Like, there's certain people out there who are significantly taller, but you can't really do a movie with a hero who's Arnold Schwarzenegger size. Arnold Schwarzenegger's 6'2" and a solid motherfucker. You can't have him going up against Jean-Claude Van Damme, for instance, who is 5'9", 5'10". How tall is Jean-Claude Van Damme?
I thought he was like 5'6". Well, and you can't believe the stats that they put up there, because a lot of people will just put themselves as higher. This says 5'10". I don't for a second believe he's 5'10".
Either 5'9" and 3/4.
I would go lower. I'd say he's 5'8" tops.
Mm-hmm.
Tops.
Well, the point is we've now, with the resurgence of Marvel Cinematic Studios, we have guys like for like Hightower in Police Academy was supposed to be a significantly larger guy, and he was, but for the most part, you end up getting groups of people. Like, Hollywood is so fucking short, you don't realize it. Al Pacino, Tom Cruise, Rick,
small people with big heads.
Yeah,
that's who you cast as actors, because it looks better on film.
Mm-hmm. So Steven Seagal being 6.5 feet tall, it's an entirely different casting process than somebody who's, Rick Moranis size.
Do you see he came back?
I did see that. I saw that commercial. That was absolute shit.
It wasn't a good commercial, but fuck if I don't like both those guys.
Yeah. And talk about a small guy with a big head. Fucking Rick Moranis, man.
Yeah.
King of the matchsticks. But yeah, it's on average, Hollywood is 5'8". But then you've got certain characters, like you end up having that you can only do more recently is Tom Hiddleston, 6'1", or no, Tom Hiddleston 6'3", Chris Hemsworth is 6. Anyways, these guys are over 6 feet tall. And you can do that as long as you're hiring them to play those characters. But you pull out Robert Downey Jr., who's been in Hollywood for 30 years, literally. 40 years, Jesus, since the 80s. He's 5'8". You can do that with him. You can do that with Mark Ruffalo, who's a completely different actor than the action-y guys that play the action guys. Like, he's 5'8"-ish, but the Hulk is like 7 foot or whatever the fuck. But you're casting X-Men, they have to be bigger than the average person. There's a whole scene in Twins that has Arnold Schwarzenegger literally a foot over every motherfucker's head. Like, he's supposed to be like the Aryan ideal. He's all the cleaned up DNA that you get in a person with a fucking giant tooth gap for some reason. Mayor says Tom Cruise is 3'2". You got to measure him without his shoes on.
He's a little guy. You can just put him in your pocket and take him home.
Yeah. Mark Ruffalo is ugly. Robert Downey Jr. has proved that. Yeah, apparently cocaine's a preservative. Who knew? But yeah, so this went to a whole different. This went in a really weird direction that we ended up talking about. So for the people at home, there's an argument between if Mike Myers and Jason were to fight, who would win? And I think the answer to that depends on how old you are.
No, I'm pretty sure Jason wins.
Not if you're 14. Most people don't watch movies more or less than 5 years of their age, which is a shame because there are so many good movies from the 80s. Unfortunately, in the 80s, Halloween and Friday the 13th are not them. those are all terrible movies. All the 80s are terrible movies, except for the original Nightmare on Elm Street. But for us, being older, Jason is a reborn zombie who's super powerful. But to somebody who's younger, who's only seen the remakes, Jason's a person who's really strong. But Mike Myers is also a person who's really strong. But if you just go by them themselves in the remakes, because Jason's alive still in the remake, Derek Mears, who played Jason in the remake, is 6'4". Tyler Mane, who played Mike Myers, is 6'8". In like, what's the?
I would have just taken both originating movies and based my decision on that. So Mike Myers.
Yeah, I think Mike Myers
Halloween,
will fuck up Nancy Palmer.
And then Jason from the original.
He was a water-headed, retarded drowned boy in the original Friday the 13th.
Right. But he'd still beat Mike Myers.
Plot armor? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think Mike Myers has taken more bullets than Jason, and Jason was once shot by an entire SWAT team.
Well, you know,
being
undead has its advantages.
The entire FBI SWAT team. But yeah, so yeah, it really depends on how old you are. The remakes are a thing now, so you got to take out of your head who you're thinking about. And Rob Zombie's Mike Myers is a far more brutal character than the remake of Jason.
Okay, so Judge Dredd versus Judge Dredd.
I mean, there's a pretty good chance Carl Urban would shoot Stallone in his unhelmeted face.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, that's the real difference between
Carl
those two
Urban
characters.
may be taller than Sly Stallone, but not nearly as jacked.
Judge Dredd wasn't really a fisticuffs kind of guy.
No, he was a shoot you to shut you up sort of guy.
Yeah.
Which Carl Urban played him much more correct than Sly did.
Yeah, Carl Urban didn't take off his goddamn helmet.
Well, besides that. Yeah, who knew that Judge Dredd, Carl Urban's Judge Dredd, was the first Mandalorian? It is.
Mike Myers only wins in a prequel to the first Friday the 13th when he's still a kid. No, I'm telling you, Derek Mears will get his ass kicked by Tyler Mane.
My stupid cartoon brain. Anytime somebody brings up Mike Myers from Halloween, my initial thought is Mike Myers from Wayne's World.
I get Austin Powers, but yeah.
It's like, why should I be scared of Wayne? That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Not clone. It was more of a brother. Like they all came from the same batch of eggs and semen, but not clone. No, he somehow Sylvester Stallone and Armando Sante were the same exact age. And fucking Rob Schneider was in that movie. God damn, he didn't learn his lesson from Demolition Man.
That's how he got the gig. Somehow Rob Schneider became buddies with Sly. So anytime they did a project, they would both show up in it. I'm really surprised that Sly wasn't in Deuce Bigalow, honestly.
Yeah, Demolition Man came out in 93 and Judge Dredd came out in 95. Yeah, so the story is they wanted a comedian for Rob Schneider's character, and Stallone recommended Rob Schneider because he wanted to work with him. And then he fucking came back for fucking Demolition or for Judge Dredd.
Yeah, it's kind of like
I like Rob Schneider as a person. I don't think he's funny in a lot of his roles.
Demolition. All right, so 93 cast. Sandra Bullock and Benjamin Bratt did a lot of shit.
Introducing. I was introducing Sandra Bullock.
Right, but Sandra Bullock ends up doing a bunch of shit with Benjamin Bratt, too.
Yeah.
And nobody works with Wesley Snipes anymore.
Oh. That hurts my feelings. He's looking to do another Blade movie.
I heard that. I think that
he left.
Sailed.
He left. Yeah, you're an aging vampire, you creepy bastard. I loved Bill Cobbs.
Black Magic doesn't know how the 3 shells work.
You know, Sandra Bullock came out and explained it. In like, I don't know, 2012, 2013. I could see that's a problem.
2013.
2013 is when she came out and said it, like on like the 20th anniversary or whatever. I think both Tyler Mane and Derek Mears would get their ass kicked by the fucking guy who played the remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Can't think of his name. Yeah, but with the remakes that we do have, I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre has the best chance of winning. Andrew Brenner Persky. He played Zangief on Street Fighter in the movie.
God, that was such a bad movie.
Quick, change the channel. Oh my god, it's the best line in the whole freaking film.
I mean, I love watching Tim Curry chew up scenery like nobody's business, but my god, was that a bad movie.
You are really insulting Gomez Adams, sir.
Oh, you're right. What the hell was I thinking of? Oh, there's another movie where Tim Curry plays a really bad...
Are you talking The Shadow?
No, it's something else. It's so bad he can't even get his lines out without cracking himself up. It's the one.
Oh my god!
hang on.
The Clue?
No, Clue. I love Clue. Clue's a fucking classic.
I do love Clue. Tim Curry can't get his own lines out.
Let's see, what is it? It might be a video game.
Was it Home Alone 2?
Hang on. What is this from?
We just went full circle. We got Donald Trump, Tim Curry, Rob Schneider, all in Home Alone 2.
Command and Conquer. I don't know if it's a movie or a game.
It's a game, isn't it?
It might be a game. But you guys have got to see this. It's amazing.
Amazing.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
Visual as fuck video game, like 8-bit.
Space!
We have another problem. Opening the airlock was the station's plan A. Plan B, filtering out all the oxygen.
So they can sell it back to us.
Capitalism
Yeah,
in
it's from here.
space.
No! I'm
It's hilarious. All right.
But yeah, Raul Julia, his scene chewing, and oh my
He
god,
chews some scenery with the best of them too. I mean, both Adams Family's flicks, he's chewing scenery the entire time too, but it's wonderful.
But again, the unfortunately, he died like 2 months before that movie came out. But
Which one? The second one?
No, Street Fighter.
Oh,
Was it-
yeah, that's
it was
right.
his
He
last
did.
film.
Yeah.
And I'd be dedicated to him. But oh man, that he was really good in Street Fighter. It's actually a really clever movie. It's poorly done, but it's really clever. Like some of the writing it's some of the best in the business.
Yeah, but you don't cast Jean-Claude Van Damme as Guile.
Dude, you don't cast Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dutch.
Wasn't that role written for Ed O'Neill?
Was it? Did Shane Black write it for Ed O'Neill?
Or no?
I mean, it's the only way Shane Black is involved in that because no, he wrote Predator, The Predator. But anyway, yeah, he was the odd man out in that. Jesse Ventura, Bill Duke isn't really he's
Ed
a
O'Neill
big guy.
is Dutch from the movie Dutch.
No, Dutch from Predator.
Oh, yeah.
The American Special Forces operator.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And then Stallone just doesn't sound like he's American.
Because he's not. I mean, he is now, but not really.
Stallone? He's from Philadelphia.
Right.
He had a stroke or something. Not a stroke, nerve damage.
Have you ever seen is it Hercules in New York or Hercules Takes New York?
Hercules in New York.
Yeah. His first movie.
Yeah.
Where his accent is so bad that they have to dub him over.
No, it wasn't that bad. It was just the accent. Like there's if you go to YouTube, you can find it not dubbed. And it's like, could you tell me the way to go to the car wash? And it's not terrible. It's thick though, but it's no thicker than dealing with Monica. Like certain foreign actors, it's not terribly bad. It was just they just dubbed it. I watch a lot of movies that end up for some reason having Frank Welker in them. Like this fucking dude, you have no idea. Like let's IMDb Frank Welker.
Yeah, his credits are insane.
Like you're like, who the fuck was Frank Welker? Like I understand Transformers. He played Optimus Prime, but Who the fuck was Frank Welker in Anaconda? Oh, he was the goddamn Anacondas. Yeah, that's right.
Why won't this go? Waiting. Well, we're waiting.
Welker.
I love Frank Welker. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, like he's he's the Martians in Mars Attacks. He's literally like the sound of a punch being thrown in Mortal Kombat. I swear to God. Holy shit, we found a winner. 855 results for him as an actor. You've got Fred and Scooby in the 2020 Scooby-Doo.
He was Fred. He's always been Fred. He was Fred when it was conceived of in the late 60s.
Yeah, poor Casey Kasem.
Although I got to give it to the kid that they found to do it for the movies. He does a really good Shaggy.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars Resistant, Teen Titans Go. He plays Scooby-Doo and Fred Jones. So apparently, the Scooby Gang was there. Anyway, he was the Cave of Wonders in Aladdin. He was fucking everybody in Curious George. The Goblins and Troll Hunters, The Tale of Arcadia. Are you kidding me? There was a Supernatural crossover with Scooby-Doo?
Yes, there was.
Well, he played Fred in that. He was Odin in Avengers Assemble, Scooby-Doo, Transformers. Let's find some stuff that wouldn't be so well known. Smurfs, Jetsons.
He's Lord Nibbler in The Simpsons and
Futurama,
yeah.
Nibbler.
He's Nibbler.
Scooby-Doo and Kiss, Rock and Roll Mystery. He played Ogun for Marvel, Scooby-Doo. He was Rashad in World of Warcraft, Transformers, Robot Chicken. Transformers.
He was a voice in StarCraft 2.
Yeah, I gotta scroll down a little bit. Batman. Troll 2. He was not in Troll 2. He was not in a Police Academies movie. That's all I got.
I'm like 3 pages down, and I'm still into 2010, let alone anything.
Dude, I've been scrolling and I'm still in 2010. Yeah, apparently, I was a busy year. Fucking now I'm going whole hog just through here. There we go. I'm now in. Fuck. I'm on Clifford the Big Red Dog, which goes from 20 to 2020. All right. I'm in 2000s. He was the Python. It says Python voice for the movie Python. That's the one with Casper Van Diem and Robert Englund and Jennifer McCarthy. Or Jennifer McCarthy.
He was a World of Warcraft voice. What else we got here? Johnny Bravo, Powerpuff Girls.
Come on, too.
It's like every third one Scooby-Doo of some sort.
Yeah, he was the voice of the parrot in Deep Blue Sea.
Dexter's Lab.
The TV show Hercules, Aladdin, Boulder's Gate.
SpongeBob freaking credits.
Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, Rugrats the movie, The Jungle Book.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
Was he the Sound of Punches?
Let's see. Jackie Chan.
Did the creature's vocals for Godzilla, the Matthew Broderick one.
Yeah. Where's my favorite thing that he did? I gotta find it in here. It's got to be in the late 90s.
He was in the movie Hercules, the cartoon Hercules.
Uh
He played Pegasus.
huh.
He was the Malbogia's voice in Spawn the movie,
Mm-hmm.
which they did a terrible job of conveying that his voice was of hell, not from the creature's mouth, which was just open the whole time. I never understood that. He was the Anaconda in Anacondas. Yeah. Mars Attacks. Yep, he was that. Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. He was the six-headed creature and the energy creature.
Animaniacs.
Charles the dog in Space Jam.
I Am Weasel. Where is this?
He was the voice of Assassimum from the Isle of Dr. Monroe. He was the special vocal effects of Independence Day. He was fucking everybody besides the main character in Gargoyle. Jesus. Special vocal effects for Dunstan Jackson.
101 Dalmatians. Bobby's World.
Jumanji, he was the vocal special effects.
Where is Baldur's Gate? I know he was the voice.
Virtuosity, I read that he was.
That's my favorite role of his.
He was Shokan and Reptile from Mortal Kombat. He was Sill's voice in Species. Flit and Pocahontas. Special effects vocal cords for Tank Girl. Richie Rich.
Jumanji.
He was the reindeer in Santa Claus. The Tim Allen, the Santa Claus.
Pocahontas.
Oh. Stargate. Mustacage.
The Shadow.
There, that's the knife in the shadow. He played the knife.
A Flintstone Family Christmas. Played Barney Rubble.
Thunder in Paradise. I actually really like that show, Thunder in Paradise.
The Addams Family, the TV series. He played Poodles, Boxing Turtle, and Doberman.
He played the dinosaurs in Dino Riders. He was Spike, the Sharptooth, and Domehead Gang in The Land Before Time. He survived The Land Before Time.
Muppet Babies. He was Kermit, Skeeter, and Beaker.
As the children?
Yep. The Real Ghostbusters. He played Dr. Raymond Stantz and Slimer. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. The Devil's Station Evil Easter Bunny.
He was Torch and Wild.
Oh my God, he was even in Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Hawk. Who did he play in Hudson Hawk?
Bunny the dog. The voice.
Bunny! Ball!
This guy is in everything.
He was Munchies in the Munchies movie. He was Mad Dog and Rambo. He had several characters in Centurions. He was the Thing in The Golden Child. Jesus.
Snorks the entire run.
Frank Welker worked with Orson Welles in the Transformer movie.
Jesus. He's the voice of the gopher in Caddyshack 2.
Holy shit, man.
He's in everything.
Holy shit. That's who you need to do. You need to study up on Frank Welker, and you will own 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. He was the aliens in My Science Project. He was the cat in Cat's Eye. He might have the highest number of starring roles or titular character roles named after him. Do you guys remember Turbo Teen? The kid who turned into the car?
Yep.
He was the turning into the car.
The Wuzzles?
Cannonball Run 2.
Jesus, how far down are you?
He was...
I'm barely in the mid-80s.
I'm 84. He played Stripe, Mogwai, and the rest of the Gremlins in Gremlins.
He was Chomp Chomp Morris, an adult baby Pac Baby in the Pac-Man TV series. He was Patchett from the Monchi-Cheese. Good Lord. He was Marvin, Wonder Dog, and Mr. Mixelplick in the Super Friends.
Somebody look up right now the name of the dog from Duck Hunt, because I'm pretty sure he played the ducks and the dog. Special voice effects for Raiders of the Lost Ark. Ew, he was Plastic Man.
I loved Plastic Man.
I never liked Plastic Man.
Oh, that was my jam back in the day. I barely caught any of it, and every time it was on, I was super ecstatic. Back when you actually had to, read the TV guide and figure out when crap was on.
He was Jabberjaws. He was Jabberjaw Shark from Jabberjaws.
Are you back into the 60s already?
75. 76, sorry. Dude, when you started reading them, I fucking flung my fingers through.
I guess.
He played the Claw in Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey, #1 super guy. Scooby's Laugh Olympics. Dino Mutt, Yankee Doodle, and Tinker.
He was on an episode of The Partridge Family. Yeah.
Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. Hong Kong Phooey.
Since 1969, he's been doing this stuff.
Jesus, he was even on Laugh-In.
He was the entire audience and the camera. I wonder if he's got like a special degree.
The Computer Wore Tennis Shoes. That's insane.
Top Dog. He was the dog in Top Dog. He did special vocal effects for Radioland Murders, City Slickers 2. He was the voices of the dinosaurs in Prehysteria. Sound effects in The Return of Swamp Thing. And he was Cujo. He was the Spiders and Eight-Legged Freaks. Indian in the Cupboard, doesn't say. The Next Karate Kid. Love Potion #9. Cuffs, Beauty and the Beast, City Slickers, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And he was the fucking troll.
And these are all just his acting credits. He's got 16 credits in soundtrack, 18 in music department, 17 in sound department, miscellaneous crew 9 credits.
Well, his sound credit stuff, except for Advisor, would all be in IMDb or in the casting. I forgot Atreyu was the kid in Troll.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything since those, has he? Well, thanks for coming to the Frank Welker Fan Hour.
Yeah, he was in The Chair in 2016. Tom Holland's Twisted Tales 2014. Twisted Tales 2013. Roper 2013. Yeah, so he's got a career. It's just not a good one.
He must work
Sounds
for
like
peanuts to get this many credits.
no, probably not. I'm not saying he's the most expensive in the industry, but
Clearly not. Clearly.
But he does something, that's kind of ridiculous.
He does a lot of sound effects. He was like the guy from Police Academy before.
Jabberjaw.
That guy. Whose name I can't ever remember.
LeVar Jones? Was that his name?
Well, that was his character's name.
Yeah.
His name's like Mike something, I think.
Mike Winslow.
How does he not? Yeah, Michael Winslow.
Yeah, I said that.
Yeah. Who's amazing, mind you. As a sound effects guy. He is amazing. But Frank Welker's got him beat by a lot.
My aunt does a really good small dog impression. But it sounds like my aunt doing a small dog impression. Like it sounds like a really good small, like we're at my grandma's house and I hear I go, Johnny, look, his little puppy. And he goes, oh, run, Johnny, run. And then she starts making the small dog noise, like the and my uncle turns to my other uncle and he goes, when did you guys get a dog? I'm like, that's clearly your wife making dog noises. You idiot. I apparently can't do small dog noises.
You should watch Michael Winslow do Hold Out of Love by Led Zeppelin with exactly 0 instruments. It's amazing.
Mm. Well, the story behind how he got cast in Police Academies, it's an interesting one. Not really interesting, it's just fun. They heard about him from they're writing comedy and they want comedians to be in it, but they're not really casting any comedians. So they need somebody, but they haven't really found anybody for it. So they go and hear a set on the strip, and the power is out. So Michael Winslow, goes over, and they set up a couple of lights, and he gets the megaphone from the fire marshal, and he does his entire bit through the megaphone. And to roar his applause. They wrote him in. That's why he doesn't have a lot of dialogue. It's just special effects noises. And anytime they're like, we don't have a way to get out of this scene, like, let's just have him do this. Like, do something funny. Have your own razor attack you. That's how we end this scene. Pretend you're playing a video game. That's how we cut this scene. I have too much useless shit that will never eat me.
Yeah, Sally, that little robot is called Bob. Nintendo's Bob. I don't know what it was for. I never had one, but I did have an NES.
My first console I bought myself. We had consoles growing up, but my little brother would always ask for them. I didn't think. I thought they were too expensive. I will not be getting a PS5. I barely use my PS4.
Yeah, I don't know that I'll get a PS5. I don't know that I'm I'll probably end up getting one of the new Xboxes because my son's a Halo freak, so I'll have to get the new version of Halo. But I won't be buying it for this Christmas.
Well, you might. It all depends on what PlayStation 5 comes out with as their price.
Well, even
It's supposed to be $500, but
yeah, they're gonna eat their shorts if they the graphics processing in it alone is like $800 worth of equipment, and that's not to say anything about the OS, the overlay they got to do, or any of the hard drives and shit they got to include. So there's no way that PS5 is going to come in at the same price as Microsoft is undercutting everybody with that new Xbox Series X.
well, that was their intention this time around.
Oh, absolutely.
They're like,
absolutely.
they're so pissed. They're like, name your price because we're coming down lower than it.
Well, yeah, and then Microsoft
We're sick of your bullshit.
Yeah, Microsoft just jumped the gun and said, "Screw it, we're gonna lowball and they can eat it, and we'll eat a loss on the console, but we'll make it up in games."
And that's how that works for them. Yeah, I mean, it's a one-time cost loss. And over the course, you're buying 60, 70 freaking games for the damn things.
Well, and I guarantee you Microsoft has a really kick-ass version of the Xbox Series X in the works, if not already designed and ready to go. So once PS5 does commit to a price point and performance stats, and then they start manufacturing and shipping them, Microsoft will drop the kick-ass version of the upmarket Xbox X, Series X, and price it right at the same price point of whatever Sony's come out at.
I heard it. I don't know where I heard it from, but the Xbox is going to be cheaper. Like they got the green light. Whatever price PS5 is, the new Xbox is going to be cheaper then.
No, they've already announced the new Xbox Series X price. They announced it last week. It's like $500 or $550.
Well, that's retarded. That's a brand new decent computer.
Xbox. Here, I'll look it up. Series X price.
Well, where did I hear that from then? Because that's wrong. They said they were going to wait for PlayStation to announce their price.
Yeah, they were trying to, but Sony has been dragging their feet. So Microsoft just said, "Well, we've got to get this out and we've got to get it to market for the holiday season." So they're like, "Fuck it." Microsoft announced the Xbox Series X price today, positioning it at $499. The all-digital version of the Xbox Series S, was announced earlier in the week at $299. But it doesn't have nearly the graphics processor as the Series X does. It's not too far behind, but it's going to be noticeable. So yeah, Microsoft has already just grabbed him by the short and curlies and said, "Screw you, Sony. We got you."
Little did they know that Sony's coming out with a $750 fucking bullshit. God, we beat you by $250.
They'll take. Well, no, the PS5 will probably come out at $750, and they'll take a loss on it at that. Like I said, there's $700 worth in just graphics processing, to say nothing else of storage or anything, OS overlay, any of that.
My favorite controller is the PS4 controller.
I do like the DualShock. I'm not a fan of the Microsoft one, but you get fanboys either way, left and right there. Mm-hmm. But I do my gaming on a PC because PC Master Race.
I finally got yours up and running.
What? It was just sitting around forever, or what?
Yeah.
Why? What did you need?
It was sitting around until I got a replacement for the keyboard and the mouse didn't work.
I didn't?
No.
Oh.
I don't know how you ended up unless you broke it when you pulled out your keyboard and mouse. I had to replace the I have to call my computer guy.
Yes.
I'll tell you tomorrow what you broke.
Was it the little round connectors, the PS2 connectors? Or did I send you USB connectors?
USB connectors.
I don't know how I broke that then.
Well, anyways, it was like $17. So it wasn't a huge cost or anything.
Oh, my bad. I could have sworn that thing worked when I put it in the box.
It had to work at some point. You put my fucking name on the thing.
Yeah.
But I finally got that up and running and connected to the internet, which was another issue that that kept me for a long time, was a cable to connect to my router.
Yeah, it should have been about $5 on Amazon.
It was like $350 at a store. It's literally like 2.5 feet long.
That's a little short, but okay.
The router's right next to the computer.
Gotcha.
Right next to the computer. Right next to it. It's 11:30. Anybody got anything else to talk about?
No, they're talking about the robot that came with the original NES in chat.
I don't remember a robot.
Yeah, this is like 84, 85 when it first came out. It was like one of the first 2 or 3 games that it came with was this little robot that you would plug into it. I don't know if it lifted shit or just turned around and did shit. I don't really remember. But they turned it into a character in Smash Brothers, so it still lives, sort of.
I had this. I don't remember the name of it or anything, but it was a airplane controller. It was like an airplane, and there was a video that played, and you it faced your TV, and I remember it being expensive, but that was probably like $100 at the time. Was expensive, and it took pictures of the screen on whether or not you shot the plane or not.
That's exactly how Duck Hunt worked. Duck Hunt would turn the entire screen black for a frame with what dot where the bird was, and the gun read whether or not you were pointed at the dot. And that's how it knew whether or not you hit the duck.
Yeah, well, this was a video that you played in your VCR. But it was like a controller / gun / airplane.
You know, there was a VCR version of Clue that we had way back in the 80s.
Did you have to fast forward based on times?
I don't really remember how it worked.
Because I've played Clue on a DVD. It's a game, you know. And you basically picked it like you would.
VCR mystery.
It's the Power Glove. I think we can all agree, whether you're Team Jason or Team Mike Myers, both of them would have kicked Freddy's ass.
This doesn't tell you how it's played. This is an Amazon Prime listing for it. That you can apparently buy it today. That's weird. Nobody's got a VCR.
Which is a shame because I have a box full of VHS tapes.
I still have some laying around. As a matter of fact, my entire collection of Black Adder is still on VHS. Sitting back in my closet.
What's VHS stand for? video home screen?
That's a good question. Let's look that up.
I guess I could have Googled it.
Video home system, yeah.
Video home system.
There's another thing Sony lost out on. Sony and their damn proprietary bullshit. Betamax was technically superior, but...
Porn didn't think so.
Well, that's what it came down to, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Kind of kicked off DVDs, too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably had a lot to do with the MP4 format, too, I would imagine.
You think?
I would guess yes.
Transgender activists are outraged at J.K. Rowling's new book about a cross-dressing serial killer. You guys just can't be happy.
Well, no, they're mad that it's a cisgendered man who, when he commits his crimes, dresses up as a woman. So he's the killer is culturally appropriating trans culture.
Owsley County, Kentucky has the highest rate of food stamp use in the nation. It is 99.2% white and 95% Republican. I don't know why that is a. Is that a meme? Is it funny? Did I miss it? Owsley County, Kentucky.
Okay. So what they're telling us there is that there's a lot of poor white people.
Republicans are the problem. Traitor Trump. Treason with the A and the S being 45. That's actually really clever. That's surprising. Right-wing cult, not my president. Illegitimate. Treason Trump. GOP. Tea Party. Mitch McConnell in Kentucky remains one of the poorest states in the country. Many of you have posed the question, why do Republican voters continue to vote against their own best interests? Additions to hate, the ultimate.
I can answer.
You're not
principle. That's why.
You're not supposed to vote in your own best interests. You're supposed to vote for the best interests of the country.
Mike,
no.
8 tracks exist, sir.
What?
He's saying that reel-to-reel was superior than cassettes because it is four-channel sound instead of stereo sound, which is true.
Uh-huh.
But 8 tracks, that's twice as many as 4.
Yeah. No, that's not a thing. Hold on.
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
No. They're saying there's a new thing. Is there a new thing? Oh, fucking liars.
J.K. Rowling should just start writing bodice ripping smut. She'd do just fine. Are you looking at Twitter?
No, I was on Facebook for a second there, but yeah, I'm not seeing a remake. Yes, idiot. 1982 Thing is a remake from A Thing from Another World.
What?
The Thing is a remake of The Thing from Another World. Someone asked in the comments, is The Thing a remake?
You see that Kamala let loose a Freudian slip, or I don't know if it's a Freudian slip, but some sort of slip where she referred to it as a Harris administration together with Joe Biden. Yeah, like no shit, we know. Just the fucking rubes and the rest of the voting populace don't seem to get it.
Yeah, it's not a thing. There is no 2020 The Thing. You almost had me, you bastards. I'm still waiting for the remake of Big Trouble in Little China starring The Rock.
Yeah, how about no? And I like The Rock, and he might actually do a decent job, but you don't need to touch that particular film.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I'll like it anyway, but fucking... I don't know if I could root for like a bunch of little Asians fighting Dwayne the fucking Rock Johnson. Shit, I don't know if I could go for...
Well, who are you going to get to play Lopan at this point?
James Hong's still alive. Just get him to play.
No, he's
Kind of
not.
recast. What?
He died.
Is that why they're trying to get him on Hollywood Walk of Fame?
I think so. I think he died like 2 years ago. No, holy shit, he is still alive. He's 91. I could have sworn he died.
You, sir, suck.
I guess. Damn.
Are you thinking of Wang?
Wang. No, yeah, he's dead, I'm pretty sure.
Victor Wong. What? He was Wang in Graboids. What the fuck is the name of that movie? Tremors. He was grandpa and fucking everything. He died in 2001.
Wang, Dennis Dunn.
I think it was Wang Chen.
The guy who played Wang in Big Trouble in Little China is actually still alive, too.
Well, yeah, he's like probably 60.
He was born in 52, so he is, yeah.
Oh.
68.
What's Kurt Russell? Kurt Russell's 69. Oh, so they were like the same age.
Yeah. Victor Wong died. No, he played Egg Shen.
Yeah. He was
he died 19 years ago.
Was he?
He died the day after September 11th. That's
Oof.
why nobody remembers him.
Yeah, that explains it. Speaking of, new Tremors film coming out. It's like
There's
Shrieker Island or something like that.
Tons of Wongs. Carter Wong, who played Thunder. Excuse me. Yeah, I can help you. That guy.
Oh, it was Walter Chang. I thought it was Wang. My bad.
Kim Cattrall looks good for her age. I wonder if the who was the other chick?
Kim Why are we talking about Kim Cattrall?
Miao Yin, because I'm looking at Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, I was like, she wasn't in Tremors.
Wow, she was young. She's from fucking Toledo. That's hilarious. Oh no, they won't hire her. She did Penthouse. So she's out.
Who?
The chick who played Mao Ying. Susie Pie.
She's out from what?
Hmm?
She's out from what?
Playing anybody in the new remake of Big Trouble in Little China.
Why is that?
Nah, I'm pretty sure they don't hire anybody who did Penthouse.
Why? First off, all of my favorite movies have chicks who did Penthouse in them. Cheerleader Sleepaway Camp, nothing but Penthouse girls.
Yeah, well.
And Leif Erikson.
The first two Tremors movies were good. Everything after that kind of went downhill rapidly.
I mean, if you want to fight right now, we can do that. Or we could, you can go to sleep. I could jump you while you're asleep. That also works for me. They tried to tie it in. They in the last one, it was a Cold Day in Hell, and it brought in the daughter of Kevin Bacon and seismologist what's her nuts.
Oh, from the first movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the weirdest part about it is they made her like the child that Burt Gummer would have had. It was so weird. Like she knew everything about graboids, could shoot, had boots made of a graboid. I'm like, man, that's weird what you did with Valentine. The kid, anyway. I'd like to see a movie where you take like some of your all-time favorite characters and you put them into other shit. like
So like the
like-
Expendables?
No, because it's the same shit every time. The original idea of the Expendables, yeah. I'd love to see them in the situation, like the cast of the Expendables. First movie, action flick. Second movie, gangster noir. Third movie, sci-fi thriller. Like, I just want to
That
see.
would be pretty cool. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, like, and like even if the cast dies off, they come back for the next one.
So Sharknadoes is what you're saying.
No. Like they're independent of each other.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Basically, it's like
So you serialize the cast and characters rather than the movies themselves and the theme.
maybe not the characters so much, because I don't need a team of mercenaries for
Well, no,
my Indiana Jones flick.
So I'm thinking like how Star Trek would do the same cast, but they would do different flavored episodes. Like they would always do a couple of period pieces, but it was them.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that could be. I mean, as long as you give them like a wide range, like they're the team of explorers or something like that. Like one's a scientist, because Dolph Lundgren actually is a scientist.
Chemist.
One's the.
I think he's a chemist.
That's still science.
Okay.
I think that's microbiology.
It might be microbiology. You're right. I thought it was chemistry, but yeah, that's the fun,
It's either-
bubbly science instead of just math and spreadsheets.
Yeah. But yeah, like creating like the universe. I fucking full on like Sharknado.
Oh, Sharknado was awesome.
Like Spot the fucking jackass who you saw in a movie in 1984 is my jam. That's the game I play. And Sharknado is playing my tune. You can have the chick from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 selling chainsaws with Gunner, the original Texas Chainsaw guy, and Dog the fucking Bounty Hunter in your Sharknado 3, and I am all about it. I almost had an aneurysm trying to think of Bud Bundy's name. Like, that's David. Oh, Jesus Christ. What the fuck is. Jesus.
Postino.
Like, I almost died trying to think of his last name. Like, I know it. It's in here. This is part of my knowledge bank.
The only reason I remember that is there's a restaurant here in Phoenix that's fairly famous called Postino's. So that's how I remember Bud Bundy's name.
Yeah. And I want the whole thing to be directed by Steven Sommers. He did a shit show on G.I. Joe, but I think he's really got a passion for his work that I enjoy. Night, silly toys.
Damn it, we've thrown down another 2 3/4 hour already.
I think the funniest part would be all these muscle-bound assholes in like a mystery, like Stallone and Schwarzenegger arguing about this kind of mustard, obviously.
Oh my god, a Meathead remake of Clue. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Just you approach everybody and threaten to beat them up with one-liners.
That would be awesome.
Man, I don't know how this one's going, but at least it's no stopper and my mom will shoot. By the way, fuck you for that film. Yeah, what the fuck, Rocco? What's going on? Your bullshit audio and whatnot. But yeah, like the first movie they were really in together was Escape Plan.
Who's this?
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. And Stallone didn't want to, or Schwarzenegger didn't come back for the second one, so they brought in Dave Bautista. And I'm like, you could have gone with Dolph Lundgren. But then Dolph Lundgren and at first I watched Blackwater, which is Jean-Claude Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And then eventually I got to Escape Plan. It's kind of the same movie. Although you're not, like, you're fully aware of it in, like, you're supposed to have watched Escape Plan, then watched Blackwater. But I did it backwards. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a similar premise. Weird. But Arnold Schwarzenegger's got the best line, and he delivers it like flawlessly. They get into a fight mid, it's supposed to be a distraction, and Stallone punches Schwarzenegger, and Schwarzenegger laughs. He goes, "You punch like a vegetarian."
God.
Yeah. But it's extra funny because there was a scene cut out of them eating in the cafeteria, whatever it's called, in the mess hall, whatever it is. And Arnold notices that he's not eating any meat. So it's more of a dig. But then that scene gets cut from the movie, so it's more of an insult. And I'm like, that's pretty funny. As someone who carnivores, that's hilarious. But I think I'm done with the TV trivia or movie trivia for the night.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite cameo in Sharknado?
I don't know. It's been a couple years since I watched them, and they're like brain candy, so they no calories and they don't stick around. So I don't even remember. There was a couple where I was like, "Is that? Oh my god, it is!" But I can't remember who they are now.
Mine's Steve Gutenberg.
Was that before or after La Valantula?
It was after.
Because Ian Ziering shows up in La Valantula.
Yeah, and 2 Sharknadoes later, he's in. Do you know why in the second Sharknado there is the Chippendale Dancers?
Mm-mm.
Ian Ziering is in the shape he's in because he would guest tour with the Chippendales Dancers, and that's not a unique experience.
Okay.
Danielle Harris did a season of Cabaret, and a lot of, still between their 30s, basically 30s to 40, do touring gigs like Stormy Daniels got in trouble for the Ohio Strip Club.
Yeah.
Thing. Apparently, actors do that too. There's just it's not really known. Like a traveling group comes in, their headliner happens to be somebody particularly famous 10 years ago.
Okay.
And a lot of scream queens do it because they're not scared to get naked.
Okay.
The shark that ate Sam Jackson in Deep Blue Sea is in Sharknado. Huh. I didn't particularly see a shark doing a lot of math in their head, but all right, sure.
Yeah, that really bad CGI shark that looks like every other shark. Hard to tell.
Dude, if you want to see bad CGI, I think the least fun movie I've seen, damn it, Jurassic Shark. That's the least fun, poorly written, talks about global warming bullshit of a movie. Like literally, there's a scene where they stole a painting, and their escape plan is to go across the lake in a boat. It's a fucking lake in a boat. It's not a river. It's just you can go around a lake anyway. So they one of the guys gets eaten, and he had the painting with him, so the painting fell in the water. So they go in and get it, and he's like, "No, he just ate a shark." And she goes, "Well, he's full, so now you can go in and get it. I'll give you something, blah blah blah. Like a part of his share." I'm like, "Dude, if you guys are each getting a share, then his parts." There's his percentage is no longer his percentage. It now goes to the rest of you. That's how math works. You're already getting his share. Like if it's 25% a piece, it's still 25% a piece. It's fucking dumb. Not terrible movie. All right, let's get on out of here.
All right, post the link.
Oh, posting link.
Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Well, I believe in good vibrations is what creates a beautiful nation.